This is the Yankees Postcast, your instant game reaction for the New York Yankees. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
A truly listless finish to the first half of the season for the Yankees. They fall to the visiting Chicago Cubs today in the Bronx. Final score 4-1. The Yanks managed just 2 hits, a Giancarlo Stanton opposite field home run and an Austin Wells single. That was it. Again, 4-1 the final score. Will Warren allowed 2 runs. So did the Yankees bullpen. Added up 4-1 the final score. Yanks lose 2 of 3 to the Cubs. They enter the All-Star break 10 games over 500 at 53-43. And no matter what happens the rest of the day, the Yanks will head to the All-Star break in second place. Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. Glad to have you aboard. Please follow me on X as well, at Jay Berman, Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Yankees Postcast, both on the Locked On Yankees YouTube channel and the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. The Postcast, which is this, gives you a chance to chat after every game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Before we begin, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your very first purchase.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Now, I couldn't think of a more apt word to use for the Yankees' performance today, really in all facets of the game. Listless. Again, 2 hits and the Giancarlo Stanton home run, albeit a home run in Yankee Stadium, probably the only stadium it's a home run in. A true wall scraper in right field. It's a home run no matter what. Point is, it could have very easily been an out in another ballpark, and then the Yanks would have had 1 hit and no runs. Again, 2 hits. Meanwhile, Will Warren, as we said, takes the loss. He's 6-5. Thought Warren had a little bit more juice in there. Unfortunately, when he was pulled, Ian Hamilton was the first man out of the bullpen. He allows the home run to Dansby Swanson, and obviously things got ugly from there. As for Warren, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, 1 K, 1 homer, threw only 88 pitches. Now, it wasn't the worst move in the world, but this was a first guess. Didn't feel like Will Warren was quite finished with his performance today. And then they go to Ian Hamilton. He serves up the home run. Tim Hill would also allow a run. As we said, 2 more earned runs by the bullpen, turned a 2-1 game into a 4-1 game. And considering the way the offense has been rolling the last 2 days, not surprising the Yanks didn't come back. What is surprising is that after 10 straight games of at least 5+ runs, the Yanks offense the last 2 days has gone silent. Remember, 2 runs yesterday, thanks to an Aaron Judge home run. 1 run today, thanks to a Giancarlo Stanton home run. 3 runs in 2 games, considering they're right at the top of the major league runs per game category. Right up there with, you guessed it, the Dodgers and the Cubs. Top 3 teams, Cubs, Dodgers, and Yankees. And unfortunately for the Yankees, they've scored 3 runs the last 2 games, all via a home run, and that was it. As we said, 53-43 are the Yankees. They're 30-19 at home, but again, they're going to start the second half of the season, and we'll get to the schedule coming up, in second place no matter what happens. And believe it or not, we've entered the Boston Red Sox in the race. They win again today. 10 straight wins as they take out the Rays again, and another loss for the Rays. The Red Sox have leapfrogged the Rays, and they're right there with the Yankees for second place. Of course, the Blue Jays will play in Sacramento later today. An idea of the way things were going to go today. Before roll call had commenced, it was 1-0 Cubs. Roll call, which usually begins by the 3rd or 4th pitch. Well, today, the 2nd pitch of the game to Michael Busch left the yard. And just like that, Will Warren and company were in an instant 1-0 hole. The second pitch of the game, as we said, roll call hadn't even started, and the Yankees were already in a 1-0 hole. Now, at that point, literally 2 pitches into the game, felt like it was going to be a long afternoon, but we took a pause, obviously. The Will Warren-led Yankees at that point actually got out of a jam in the first inning after the home run, so it could have been a lot worse thanks to several double plays. But again, it felt like, first guess, Will Warren had a little more juice in it. But to be honest, Yanks didn't hit anyways. So even if he does stifle the Cubs rally and does not allow the home run to Dansby Swanson, who knows if the Yankees ever get another hit. As we said, Stanton with the home run and Austin Wells with a clean single. As for some numbers, well, the top of the lineup was poor. 0 for 10, Goldschmidt, Bellinger, and Judge. Yanks only struck out 8 times today, but again, 0 for 4 for Goldschmidt, 0 for 3 for Bellinger. We'll get to him in a second. 0 for 3 for Judge, whose average goes down to 355. Now, he's second in home runs and second in RBIs in all of baseball, first in average. So he's first, second, and second. Cal Raleigh has obviously the more homers and 1 more RBI. Judge has 81. Raleigh has 82, still with a game to play. But again, he'll enter the All-Star break at 355 with second most home runs of anybody and the second most RBIs of anybody. As for Cody Bellinger, today was his 30th birthday. A little present from the baseball gods to Cody Bellinger, the end of your 17-game hit streak. Now, if you recall yesterday in a 5-0 game, he got an at-bat in the 9th inning to extend the streak with an opposite field double. He was on deck when the Yankees went down quietly in the 9th inning. So again, Bellinger takes an 0 for 3. He'll enter the All-Star break with an average of 282. However, his career-long 17-game hit streak is now history. So obviously lots of bad up and down the lineup, perhaps some good. The back end of the bullpen, specifically Luke Weaver and Devin Williams. Now, you expected to see everybody. It was all hands on deck today, considering we won't see the Yankees in between the white lines until Friday. But again, Hamilton didn't pitch well. Tim Hill didn't pitch well. However, Luke Weaver and Devin Williams did. In fact, specifically with Devin Williams, the opponents against him, they're 0 for their last 18 against his changeup. That's his pitch. That's the pitch, his moneymaker, if you will. And he has been so good, considering where he was in the beginning of the year. And here's an idea of just how bad it was. His ERA still over 4.5, and he's been brilliant for a long stretch. He was terrible. He came back. Now he's better. Looks like Luke Weaver's starting to get things corrected. Now, if that is the case, we've got the 8th lockdown. We've got the 9th lockdown. Just have to figure out how to get to those guys in the 8th and 9th inning. But again, Weaver threw 21 pitches, did not allow a run. Devin Williams threw 12 pitches in the 9th inning and did not record a run, or did not allow a run either, as he struck out 2 of the 3 batters he faced. All right. As we said, Devin Williams up. Cody Bellinger sadly down. Anthony Volpe, who obviously makes the key defensive mistake late in the game, 12 for his last 96. 12 for his last 96, folks, barely on the interstate. No one is going to enjoy the break more than Anthony Volpe. Volpe goes 0 for 3 today, average down to 214, and obviously the lackadaisical play, not charging the ground ball at short, cost the Yankees at least additional pitches, if you will. But again, he's batting 214. Just some averages from some of the other starters. Austin Wells, 226. Peraza, essentially is the worst hitter in all of baseball. He's in there for his defense. He's now hitting 149, a starting player hitting 149. Paul Goldschmidt goes in hitting 287, 282 for Cody Bellinger. We told you about Judge. Stanton has 3 home runs this week, all since his return. He is hitting 246. Jazz goes 0 for 2 with a walk, and he's now hitting 250. All right. So we need to do the schedule, and we'll obviously do an update on Luis Gil, who started his rehab assignment today. We'll do all of that coming up next. All right, have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Well, maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. Well, that's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, on drinks, on merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it all possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with, you guessed it, Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, we are back, and without further ado, here we go.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Slim pickings, folks. Giancarlo Stanton is your winner today. He does hit a home run. We told you about the right field prowess, if you will. Well, it was a right field Yankee Stadium home run into the first or second row. Cubs starter Shoto Imanaga, who was great today, you could tell he was frustrated by the Stanton home run. Despite it all, counts as a home run for Stanton, who hit 3 this week. So his presence in the lineup, much needed. He is our player of the game. As for Imanaga, who has not been great this year, but he was great today. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 6 Ks through 91 pitches. And he, too, I thought he was coming out for the 8th inning. Again, just through 91 pitches going into the All-Star break. Well, anyways, the Cubs got the job done. Drew Pomerantz and then Palencia in the 9th inning to notch the save. Stanton, your player of the game. And one other player to keep your eye on would be Luis Gil. He commenced his rehab assignment in Somerset today. Here we go with the numbers. 3 1/3, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 6 Ks through 50 pitches, 36 for strikes. So that's great. Topped out at 97. So you like to see him throwing that hard. But again, this is the beginning of his rehab assignment. So perhaps throttle back a bit, Luis. Anyways, again, 3 1/3, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 6 Ks. And he was topping out at 97. So good news there. Luis Gil will be back for the Yankees in the starting rotation at some point in the coming weeks. Speaking of the coming weeks, obviously, Jazz takes a swing at things Monday night in the Home Run Derby. Then the rest of the Yankees get their chance in the All-Star game on Tuesday. On Friday, the Yanks begin the second half of the season in Atlanta. So guys like Jazz and Judge, etc., won't have to go very far. They'll get to stay in Atlanta. The first of 3 with the Braves will be Friday night and Saturday night games, both 7:15, Sunday 1:35. Then, interestingly enough, right back up north to Toronto again. 3 with the Blue Jays, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in Toronto, all night games. It gets no easier, folks. The schedule to start the second half is brutal. As we said, in Atlanta, in Toronto, home for Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. Despite Tampa Bay's struggles, you'll know they'll be difficult. That's 4 with Tampa, 3 with Philadelphia. So again, Atlanta, Toronto, on the road, Philadelphia, and Tampa at home. So again, the schedule, very interesting moving forward. All right, as we said, Yanks lose 4-1. They're 53-43, and we told you the Red Sox won again. They've won 10 in a row, right back into the thick of things. And if you recall, roughly coincides with them dealing away their best player, Rafael Devers, who has been so-so with the San Francisco Giants, his new team. Well, the Red Sox have enjoyed I guess no Devers, somehow 10 straight wins, and they're right there in the thick of things, both in the wild card in the American League and obviously the race for the division in the American League East. All right, thanks for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also want to mention our partners in crime at Locked On Yankees, Stacey Gotsulias and Brian McKeon. Again, all the stuff at Locked On Yankees is theirs. So follow, subscribe, and enjoy. 4-1 the final score. Cubs take 2 of 3 from the Yankees. The All-Star break is upon us. 4 full days of no baseball. Official baseball. We've got the All-Star game on Tuesday and obviously the Home Run Derby on Monday. Well, we'll be rooting for Jazz to be or at least become the 5th Yankee ever to win the Home Run Derby. All right, again, 4-1 the final score. Yanks wrap up the first half of the season 53-43. And of course, we'll be with you immediately following the final pitch of the first game of the second half in Atlanta. We'll see you Friday, folks. Have a great week.